Sir, what impact might the reported failed-stage ceasefire talks have on humanitarian access and aid delivery in Gaza?
Yes, for sure. There is a critical movement during the next hours. In Italy, Rome, they will meet with Ron Dermer, the Israeli Affairs Minister, with his counterpart in Friday. That will be the last to reach the last chapter of ceasefire deal and opening a corridor for humanitarian aid access. Less than an hour now, they are meeting and having certain adjustments on releasing Palestinian hostages in the prison, Israeli prison, and humanitarian aid access through Rafah corridor crossing, and to have U.S. strict safeguards in order to prevent Israeli military operations during the 60-day truce, to have serious negotiations to tackle the final form of ceasefire deals. Therefore, there is an expectation to have a deal, an agreement in the beginning of next week, especially that Israel Parliament will start a vacation. During the vacation, there is no right to dismantle Israeli government unless the vacation is over after 3 months from now. There is a talks between Qatar and Egypt to solve any resolving issues, and we are expected to sign the signature in the beginning to sign the deal in the beginning of next week, with a U.S. pressure and its demands and with the mediation of Qatar and Egypt.
How do continued civilian casualties, including aid seekers, affect the credibility and urgency of ceasefire negotiations?
This pressure from casualties daily as a result of scarcity of humanitarian aid and the statement issued by 28 Western and European countries with the necessity of putting an end to starvation and killing is considered an exposure to Israeli practices, which is a pressure on Netanyahu in order not to expose Israel to international isolation. And there is an influence of international community statements rejecting starvation, weaponizing hunger, and to have lead to intensifying talks to humanitarian aid allowance after the intervention of UN and all humanitarian organizations to reject the practices of killing and starvation. What happens now showed to the international community what Israel is doing, which is considered a mass murder connected to killing and weaponizing hunger daily.
How is the blockade and resulting humanitarian crisis, especially the deaths of children due to starvation, shaping international perceptions of Israel's conduct in the conflict?
Sure, this crisis exposed Israel's practices. Even Israel's friends issued a statement signed by 28 countries criticizing hunger and systematic killings to murder for Palestinians. Even the foreign minister in Britain says that he is disgusting from Israel's practices towards children and Palestinians in Gaza Strip. There is a vast, wide international rejection for Israel's practices. The U.S. feels now very embarrassed that there's criticism from its friends and Israel's friends in the West. An international community in UN, including the General Secretary rejection, who issued statements and demanding punitive acts towards Israel for what Israel is practicing in Gaza. There has become an international isolation to Israel as a result of systematic murder and hunger and blocking aid and so we need to help and save children from these practices.
What role can Egypt and other regional actors play in ensuring a sustainable ceasefire and preventing further humanitarian deterioration in Gaza?
Role is very crucial in bringing points of view closer with the help of the Qatar, with the U.S. intervention to put an end to the hideous and horrific practices against starving Palestinians. Egypt's role is very important. Egypt welcomed the role in a statement of one of the statements issued by the 28th countries and demanded international community to make critical and swift steps to stop the hunger practices. In addition to, Egypt is playing a role in Doha by presenting new ideas to recover and to rebuild Gaza. There will be a call for a big international conference in Egypt once the truce comes into effect. We will present our initiatives with cooperation with the UN international community and Egypt's friends in the world to change the situation in Gaza once the truce takes effect and start a new plan to compensate Palestinians of what they faced during the past period, from killing, hunger, starvation and systemic murder daily. Egypt's role is present on all levels, on the humanitarian level, on the military side. We are present strongly. We have dozens of trucks are ready to enter Gaza, full of humanitarian aid and health relief aid once the truce takes effect.